Welcome in everyone to the Challenge Aftershow right here on Patreon. I've got Jenna with me today. I'm Dan, of course, and we today are going to be talking about our favorite one-liners, the best one-liners. It would be our favorite one-liners, I think, of all time on the challenge. Jenna, how are you?
Good. Disney Dodger Dan in his Dodger muscle
I've got
t-shirt.
a map of Disneyland. I've got my lake, and I'm wearing a Dodgers outfit because I got this for free. So I just
Nice.
not even a fan of
We're
the Dodgers.
just adding to all of the D's to your name. Disney Dodger Dan, born on a lake.
Right. And then obviously a guy one time told me my website should be called delicious.com. So I said, wow, that's fantastic.
Just delicious, not Danlicious?
No, he said, yeah, see, we should have upgraded
he
it.
miss that?
Yeah, he missed the opportunity there because he knew my name was Dan, and yeah, it should have been danlicious.com. So you and I were talking a little behind the scenes here. We were talking like, do we want to do a top 5 one-liners, or do we just want to go back and forth and just start naming some one-liners that we love from past seasons? Because it's so hard to put these in order because they're all so fun in their own way. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go back and forth naming one-liners and kind of do like what we remember from that scene and from that memory of our lives. I don't really have any like recent ones, by the way. Do you have any recent ones?
I have one. We'll see if it works as a one-liner because we like to get a little bit creative with our topics. But I'm really happy that I'm doing this with you because when you did the deep dive with Pam, I think it was last week or the week before, and I had to get off because I got a work call in the middle of it. I thought you guys were going to do the one-liners. I was like, damn, I really wanted to talk about my favorite quotes because some of them I think are so specific that I wonder if other people also remember them, if other challenge fans remember those exact quotes as well.
We ran long, so we're like, why don't we make one-liners a separate episode? And then we just never got around to it because we had so much else going on in our busy lives. So we're finally doing it right here on September 2nd. So here you go. Do you want to start?
Sure. Let's see which one I want to start off with. Okay, so this was my if we weren't going to rank them, but when we thought that maybe we originally would, I put this in the 5th spot. In the 5th spot.
Good spot.
This is how my day is going. In the 5th spot, we have, and I don't have the exact quote, so just persecute me now. Sorry about it. But this is the one that Pam brought up a few weeks ago, and it's always stayed with me. And it's such like a minuscule part of an episode, but it's Bloodlines, great season, when Jenna Capono had her cousin Brianna on with her, and they got into a drunken rage fight because they obviously, being family members, have a lot of tension and memories that build up over time. And I guess that there was some issue where maybe one of their boyfriends, like I think the cousin hooked up with Jenna's boyfriend or something like that. But Jenna pulls out of nowhere. She's like, you think you're better than everybody because you work at a bakery. Like such a specific niche moment for the two of them. Like that's not a moment all of us would universally be like, you think you're better than people because of, people be like, you think you're better than people because you grew up rich or you grew up in a nice neighborhood or your dad's famous or some shit like that. She was like, you think you're better than everyone because you work at a bakery.
I do remember that. Why am I getting Brianna? Because I just looked it up. Why am I getting Brianna mixed up with Nicole? No, you're right, I think. But who's Nicole? Remember Nicole? She just got engaged too. Or
Nicole is Nani's cousin. Wrong cousin.
Nani's cousin. I see it.
Though remember her though, that's a throwback. She was in it for a while. Like she had a good 3-4 seasons.
She went on to a season of X on the Beach.
Oh God, that's right. Yeah.
And she's been in the news this past week because she just got either engaged or married. I think engaged. Yeah. So she's.
Yeah, I always wonder what people do. I want to get somebody on so we can interview them about this. Like, what do you do when your challenge time is done? And did your stint on reality TV mess up future job prospects?
So growing up, it was, I wanted to do the Real World, but I never auditioned for it because I was afraid that it would affect my acting career and no one would take me seriously as this great actor. But it's also true with anything. And I thought that being on the Real World would affect me getting a good job someday. Because if someone went back and looked at that, they'd be like, oh man, not that I was a drinker or anything, but like you were kissing a bunch of girls on national TV and we don't want that for our brand of our company, you know? So I don't know, but like if I were to go on to the challenge now, yeah, I'm not sure how it would affect. I mean, yeah.
And it's all because it's filmed. And I get it. Like maybe you don't want somebody working with you if you saw the drunk fight that they had or you saw how they acted towards somebody. But like everyone, I'm sure 80% of your employees are doing that anyway. It's just not
Right,
filmed,
but it's
you
just
know?
not and that's why social media now, you have to be careful. Like
Yeah.
if you're out at a party or something and people are videotaping it and you work for like some big ass corporation that like takes their stuff seriously and doesn't want their dirty laundry out there, and all of a sudden you get taped, and then all of a sudden it gets back to your boss. Not a good look. So it's yeah.
Sometimes I think about that with us even doing this, just because I curse sometimes. They're like, everybody curses. Come on, is it that big of a deal? But sometimes I'm like, I wonder if somebody I work with sees this. Are they going to be like, wow, Jenna's actually unprofessional at the end of the day?
I think they know you well enough to know that it's not a well, come on. It's not an everyday thing for you. I mean, people swear. I think you're going to be fine. But yeah,
I know that's just.
I
Yeah,
mean, just stop with the F-bombs, Jenna. I mean, just hold them back a little bit.
no, it's very hard for me to do that. Okay, so you think you're so great because you work at a bakery was mine. Now
Yes.
you're
Well, I'm going to start off with one that it might be my favorite of all time, but I mean, it doesn't matter because we're not doing them in order.
right.
And it's Brad. He's in the Inferno 2. He gets an atomic wedgie by the Miz inside the van. Do you remember this?
Remember this?
The
No.
Miz like gives him a atomic wedgie. He puts it like over his head, and Brad's like screaming in there. And in a confessional, he says the line, "Congratulations, you're a meathead, son," and he's referring to the Miz. But also in that van during this ridiculous like all-out war, he puts the wedgie gets put around his neck, and Brad's yelling, "Now it's a necklace!" because he's got his underwear around his neck. Go back and find this, Jenna. It is so friggin' funny because they think in the van that Brad's just having fun with it too and like joking around,
Yeah.
but he's like legit pissed that
Yes.
he got a wedgie. And it's the
Serious.
Miz that gives it to him. So now looking back on that,
Uh-huh.
the Miz is now a wrestler. Brad, you had a wrestler give you an atomic wedgie. That's so badass. What a great memory. Like, but Brad at the time was not feeling it, and it became a huge thing.
Oh my God,
So,
that's hilarious. I mean, it probably is really belittling to
right.
a
And
degree.
the Miz's
you
defense
know?
is like, dude, everyone's gotten a wedgie in their day. Relax, Brad. But Brad's like, I didn't want to have a wedgie, but Brad was also drunk.
I've never asked for this.
Yeah, I didn't ask this,
Um,
but the drunkenness obviously also had something to do with it. But that's one of my just a memory from the challenge I'll never forget. And if you have a chance to go ahead, just type in Brad Inferno 2 Atomic Wedgie on YouTube or on anywhere, just on Google, comes right up, and it's so friggin' funny.
I
So,
need
yeah.
to watch that.
Yeah.
Was Brad, well, Inferno 2, I'm trying to think of how seasoned he was in the show. If he was a vet at that point, or if he was still kind of new.
I wish I
can't
had the
remember
year that Inferno 2 came out, but I don't have it on me. But
that probably also, and like his relationship with the Miz, you know, because sometimes someone could just like play what they think is a really funny joke on you, and you are just not. You're
and
not
this is
having it.
also, I mean, the Miz was
Depending
still
on
on the
the
show, so this is pretty long ago, and the Miz is still doing challenges after his
Yeah,
his
that's
real
very
world
true.
stint. So, yeah. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so my next one is a very specific one as well, pretty niche, but I love this. This is Tony's brother, who, although he started to get physical, him and Simone got in actually a physical altercation and like scratched the shit out of each other and slapped each other, I believe was the extent of it. So no good. He ended up never being on the show again. But when he was like funny, good Shane, he had some moments, and I just loved him on the challenge. So one of those was, and also Tony, remember just what a mess Tony was, but how amazing he was to watch between his like hooking up with people and so drunk out of his mind that he can't remember it the next day,
Yeah.
cheating on all of his girlfriends every moment, fighting with people over pasta. Like Tony was just always like, he was reality TV man. He was a walking reality TV skit. So his brother, when they were on together, I don't know if it was Bloodlines or just another season where no, I don't think it was Bloodlines because Tony wasn't on yet, where Shane was brought in, but Shane and Tony were starting to fight. because the two of them would have to go into the elimination, and it was called the pit at that point. So Shane was like, I will dig in that pit. I will whip in that pit. I will vogue. And he just, it was so just out of left field. And Tony's just standing there, and these two are fighting. And then I feel like Tony, that just makes him take a step back and have to like smirk, smile at the situation, because Shane was just so serious, but what he was saying was so funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up now which one they appeared on. I would assume it would be Bloodlines. I know that Shane came on The Real World with Tony. That's how he got his start. He was actually appeared on The Real World season because they were bringing in like basically family members that you weren't getting along with to add more drama to the show.
Shane was great. Both of the Rain brothers. They were
it says here that Shane competed on Battle of the Bloodlines and Dirty 30. So
it must have been Bloodlines then.
Yeah, it probably was considered
because they were going to go in together.
Correct. Yeah.
But if you don't remember that.
Oh, it was great. No, it was great. And yeah, they as brothers, they would always like make up, like, okay, we're good finally now, and then just get right back into it. They could never get on the same page. I wonder how they're doing today. I don't know, but
iconic, truly iconic. Okay, dig in that pit, whip in that pit.
All right, I got an obscure one that I don't know. It's CT versus Brad. It's the duel. By the way, CT makes a lot of my list here. He's had some great one-liners back in the day. CT versus Brad in the duel. And CT is describing Brad's body and why he's going to destroy him in the one where they had to hold on to the log. Basically, there's a long log and they had to push them. One person had to move the log to the other one. And this is where CT.
Oh, in the duel. Yes.
Whipped the flag out without the carabiner. And then Brad wins it actually and goes to the final against Wes. But then Wes beats him up pretty good in the final. And CT describes Brad and says, he's a bone rack. He's got no legs, meaning he's going to be able to easily, he's all upper body. And I don't know why. I think it's because maybe I'm built like a bone rack. And that's why I always remember the quote, because my legs, I've always tried to get them bigger, but I'm just too tall. And it just reminded me like, yeah.
Don't skip leg day.
I never skip leg day, but it still doesn't work for me. Darn it. But yeah. Anyways, so I'll never forget that line. He's a bone rack. He's got no legs, and he's doing it with his Boston accent, CT, and it just it makes me laugh every time he says it. So
there was a time, actually, I think the time is still now, where I need subtitles for CT. Just there's so many moments where I'm like, what did he just say?
I mean, back in the day, he really slurred it up with that Boston stuff. Yeah.
And I feel like he also like sat back in his chair and was like super slick, cool guy.
Yeah.
So he also then that added an extra layer to like sift through to be able to understand what the hell he was saying.
Remember, this is what I'll never forget. Remember when bandanas were super big on the challenge every day? They always wore bandanas to the daily challenges. CT, Brad, I'll just never forget them all rocking a bandana. And like for a long time, probably from like 2008 till 2015, I wore bandanas every day to the gym. Now I don't. I always wore a bandana. No matter if I was running or just lifting weights, I always rocked bandanas. And now I don't do it anymore. And I wonder why did that? It just changed. What
Styles
changed?
Come back. We're going to see you in a bandana soon.
No one, but like, who wears bandanas anymore? No one wears bandanas anymore.
My fiance's dad.
Okay, well then that's a little.
Anybody with a motorcycle. Anybody at the liquor store? Have you been to the liquor store lately?
But like, I feel like I got into wearing bandanas because of what I saw these guys in the challenge. They were all wearing bandanas all the time. You know,
I loved the old style of the competitors, and I felt like it was very like surfer and skater also. Like PJ always had the flare jeans and the flip flops and the RCVA. You know, it was all like that sort of stuff, or like Fox and those brands. They did live and die by the bandanas. I feel like that was because that was their way of having like a uniform or a costume. Now they have they have shirts for every single day, color coded with their names.
It's so interesting how it's interesting too, because they're trying to build brands for these characters. And I know they can wear whatever they want in the challenge house and stuff, but you think they'd want them to kind of build brands by wearing something unique to these to compete in, and to kind of sell themselves maybe in that way. Like, remember, I mean, Kyle was dressed like a pirate for a lot, but when he went into the challenge every day, he had to be in that same bland, just blue,
Yeah.
slick uniform.
Slick. Okay, what's the other one?
What do you got next for me? What do you got?
I
What do you got for
have
everybody?
a very classic one. Everyone should know it. If not, you're not a challenge fan.
Oh, I got the pressure.
This
Oh,
is
that's a
one
lot of pressure for me right now.
A lot of pressure. It's CT's infamous fight with Adam, where he says, "I will smash your head and eat it."
I have that. I have that written down as well. It made my top. If we had a top 5, it made my list. So you're right on there. Yeah, that happened in the duel 2. The duel 2.
Yes.
That happened.
And it's truly just like so violent. And also, if I was Adam in that situation, when some people are all bark, no bite, so they'll say shit like, "I'm gonna kick your ass, I will smash your head and eat it." When you have CT in front of you, that is, that's not bark. And you're like, I might actually become a victim to cannibalism here. Like, I actually might, like, here lies a man who was eaten by another man, might be my fate.
Yeah, you believe that he's actually gonna eat your, like, you could see him like eating like a watermelon, like he's holding a watermelon and he's just like biting into like already opened watermelon. Like, that's what I picture every time he says that line. Like, I believe he'll do it.
And he's like bloody as he's saying it too. It's actually terrifying. It's one of those, wow. Like, looking at how far CT has come, I wonder what he thinks when he looks back at those clips.
Right. I mean, nowadays I can't imagine him saying something that harsh to somebody, but back in the day, bandana CT, hell yeah, he'll say that all day.
Yeah.
My next one is going to be Wes and CT versus Johnny. I brought this up on the show before, and it's basically, it was during Rivals 2 when Wes and CT were partners. Johnny was with some rival from Tyler. Yeah, that was from his season. Yeah, so it was Tyler then, because that was from his.
I remember this one.
Yeah, and so Johnny's trying to call out Wes. He's like, "What do you have? What do you have, like, in life?" And like, Wes, without hesitation, he starts rattling off. I have a BMW, a Porsche, a monster truck, a house, and 30 companies. Suck my dick. All in one line. Like, didn't hesitate. It was that's what I remember, and I loved it. And then Johnny is like, and he couldn't get a line back at him because there was nothing that you were gonna say to do that, to beat that one up. So
I remember that fight. That was a great fight.
It really was.
That was pure, that was when people did not hold back. Like, that was pure, I'm gonna be in your face, and this is exactly how I feel. Yeah, that's a memorable moment for sure.
This is a side note, Jenna. Do you remember why Johnny and Tyler from Key West why were they such rivals? Because at first, they were, in the first season that Johnny ever did, Tyler actually sent him home, and they were like on good terms. They were like, "He's from my season, we're good." What made them rivals for that? I know that's a really throwing you a curveball there, but
yeah, no, that's a good question. We should try to figure that out. I wonder if it was just the simple fact that Tyler sent him home, because with those seasons, even though I love them, there were always partnerships that were definitely like sketchy. Exes, you had people who had been with each other for years, and then you had somebody who like maybe French kissed one
I
night,
know.
Like, maybe sort of had some tongue, and that was now their exes for a whole season, know? So I think rivals could be like, shit, I don't know, we need bananas on the show. We need Tyler on the show. They'll be rivals. Yeah, we'll make that happen.
And I made this point in the comment section a couple weeks ago, because people were like, Johnny Bananas got eliminated right away from his season. They brought him back, because I was arguing that they don't bring back people that get eliminated right away anymore, because there's just like, there's too many people to choose from now. And then people started giving, well, Johnny Bananas got eliminated right away and they brought him back next season. And I made the point that the casting pool was so much smaller back in the day. You could only bring back people from the real world or from the real world, or Road Rules. That was it. I mean, there was no one else you could bring back. So the fact that Johnny got another chance and got paired up with Tyler, and they didn't really have that big of a beat possibly, well, that's because they didn't have enough. They needed to cast somebody and they had no one else. Like, there was,
but imagine
the opportunity was much better. back in the day.
Imagine if they never brought bananas back. That'd be crazy.
And that's why that's what, like, in theory, people are saying now, like, you're missing opportunities on a lot of these people that get eliminated right away. You never bring them back. But I'm sorry, but it's like they're casting from basically this show casts from any reality show ever. They could potentially.
Like, where's the Real Housewives at this point?
Where, I mean, they casted that kid from America's Got Talent. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
they're never going to bring him back again, no matter how much people think that they're going to. I mean, he's a bad example because no one really thought he was any good. But like, for all the people saying Michaela, you and Pam, like Michaela's coming back. I'm like,
Back.
It's hard for me to see it because of the casting pool now. But yeah.
Yeah, I get you. That's a fair point. I'm just dying for another fresh meat. Come on, like, let's just get some people plucked out of their normal lives.
I wish they would do, and I want that too. I want it too, Jenna. I don't think it'll happen because they want to get people with followings already, because did you notice, or they actually saw a thing on one of our Instagram challenge things that we follow. The numbers for this season already are going down every week. Now, I don't know what episode 4 did, but the numbers have been going down every week. So, and that's with people that supposedly, I'm a fan of Survivor, so I'm a fan of Michelle, so I'll watch this week's episode. Not because I like the challenge, but because I like Michelle. That's what they're going for, clearly.
Yeah, that's good. Cross-platform.
And then boom, you bring a fresh meat 3 in, and it's like, who the hell's gonna watch a bunch of nobodies? You and I will, because we love the challenge. Yeah. But if you're not a fan of the challenge, I don't know. It's going to be harder for them to get people to watch. I think it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay, what else do I have on here? Oh, I have also a very famous one. I'm just going to say it, and you can tell me who said it and the situation. You're a cheater. You're going to die.
That would be Camilla. I believe she's yelling at bananas. Is that also when she threw the chairs? Is that
that's exactly what happened.
I don't have that on my list, but I should have had it on my list because that one is amazing. I love that one.
The best part of that situation is not even the quote. It's when she doesn't say anything at all. It's when she just walks into the pool and just falls directly into the pool. She just walks the plank.
Can you tell me what season that was, please, so I can look it up?
Battle of the Exes, which is, like, I think my favorite season. That's why I just always remember.
Is it up on Paramount Plus? I can check it out.
It is, yes.
Oh, I gotta rewatch it.
Season. Oh my God.
Now, and
she's also just sorry.
No, she's paired with Johnny that season, correct?
Yeah.
Go on.
And everyone's reactions too, and it could be the editing, but she's like, "You're a traitor. You're gonna die." You see everyone's mouths just go.
I know.
Like, they cannot believe.
So good. I can't wait to watch. I don't have time today, but I might try to check that season out again.
You don't not have time.
Well, yeah. Eventually I'll have some time.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, your turn.
I got another one from CT on Rivals. I'm so excited to see a bunch of these clowns I haven't seen in a while. Johnny's still Johnny. Kenny's still Kenny. Evan's still Evan, but he looks pregnant now. That's from CT.
Damn, that's pretty good, but that's
it's a little brutal, but like we said, it was a little more harsh back in the day. Let's be real. People they use pretty mean quotes. I mean, this is you're calling out fat people is what you're doing, CT. And you know what? I got called out for calling out fat people in college. You can't you're
fat shamer is what you're saying.
I in college I don't remember what happened, but I remember a friend that was a girl. She's like, you're calling out fat people.
Stop now.
You need to stop.
Just stop now.
2003 that happened for me. So there you go.
Wow. So you're old and you're fat shamer. No, just kidding.
My point is,
right back at you.
I was 21 at the time, and 18 at the time, and still learning to hone my comment. I was obviously trying to make a joke. It didn't go over well. So that's my past.
Yeah.
There.
No, that's just, that happens.
A young comedian.
People are assholes, so.
Yeah, I will not deny that I've had asshole moments in my life. I'm sure.
Samesies. Okay, what else? Is it my turn? No, it's your turn.
I just called out fat people, so it's definitely your turn.
Oh, yikes. Okay. That's awful. We don't believe in that here. I I like when Johnny Banana says to TJ, "Suck my ass, TJ." He does it a lot. It's not even just like one specific time. It's just every time he like loses an elimination or like Bananas has to drop him or something like that. Let's just be like, "Suck my ass, TJ."
And they have that rapport where it's like totally fine for him to be calling out even TJ as a joke for that, you know? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, am I going now?
Sure. Yeah. This is kind of like rapid fire. I don't really have stories for.
Yeah. This one's from Coral, who I loved on the show. I wear a 32 double D bra. One boob alone could kick her ass. She's talking about Julie on the Inferno.
That's nice.
I mean, that's great. It
The one-liners really, like, the personalities are so good. Like, wow, I would never come up with an analogy like that, you know?
And that's why I was asked you at the beginning, like, do you have any recent quotes? Because nothing happens on the show now where I'm like, oh my God, I got to remember that quote. That was so, I mean, at least maybe there are some, but I don't ever feel like
There are some, but they feel too manufactured these days. Don't they kind of feel like,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like I felt like Johnny was only so funny for as long as he could be, and then it was just like, okay, this just sounds like he's a walking soundbite. He just is so manufactured with this.
You called him out for that. You called him out for being a walking soundbite, and I agree 100% with you, Jenna. In his later years, it wasn't right. It didn't feel natural, off the cuff. It feels like a producer says something, okay, put it in your own words, got it, and then he says it in his own words, but he's still getting it from somewhere else, almost, in a way. So
yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe I just grew used to his personality, because if it has been him this whole time, it just felt like the same jokes, like just him saying it just a tiny bit, like adjusting a few words, but it's still being like the same sort of condescending, you know. Sometimes like, I don't know, just not funny, just like arrogant.
Yeah, for sure.
My recent one is not like a witty confessional, but my recent ridiculous quote is, "My name is TJ Lavin and I'm your handler."
Because we did make fun of the handler thing for a while. That did last, and he still is their handler this season as well, Jenna. So there you go.
Just like, why?
Why a handler? I get it. We're doing a spy thing. I get it. By the way, have you liked any of the outfits that they're wearing this season on 37? Because they don't look like they're dressing like spies too much.
Not spies anymore. They're allies.
I'm pretty sure Casey's wearing the exact same thing she wore last season. I don't think she changed her outfit at all. I'm pretty sure she's in the same outfit, same necklace. Every time I see her, which is like one time an episode in a confessional, but that's fine. That's what she does.
The thing about the wardrobe actually was such a funny takeaway from why everybody was wearing black turtlenecks, because we didn't understand, and MTV couldn't have said, oh, they're all dressed like spies, because only like 3 or 4 of them did it. So I just love that they tried to make people dress a certain way, and 90% of the show was like, no, fuck that, we're not doing it. But then they just had 4 people wearing black turtlenecks the whole season.
And it's so weird too, because think about it. Every time they throw like a themed party at the house, which they used to do for years and years and years, obviously there's costume people coming in and laying out a ton of outfits, and then they go and pick and choose. They didn't bring this in their bag to Croatia. There was no room in their carry-on for like last season for ballerina outfits and headbands and 80s style, whatever the hell they were dressing like. So clearly there's a costume designer on set. You're telling me that they can't go in and have a million different types of wardrobe for these cast members to look like spies in the confessional a little bit better than having them bring their own stuff? I think they have the budget.
Designer. Damn, I'm thinking that's a PA running to the 99 cent store.
Fair enough. Hey, yes. You work in TV more than I do when it comes to, especially with reality stuff, obviously. So yes, you're right. It probably is a PA, but I guess my point is, I feel like they can afford to get some guy to bring in some stuff from a freaking H&M or something. Just get them to look like spies a little bit more. So
yeah, for sure. But it is a funny attempt of something that they tried to do to make the season feel a little bit more like it's on theme or it's a spy thing. Because when you think about it, what do spies really wear? Like, what were they really like? All black is all I would be able to come up with too. If
That's
somebody
it.
told me I'm having a spy party dressed like a spy,
I
I'd
would
probably
think a black winter hat. Like,
I'd either wear all black or dress as Kim Possible or Angelina Jolie from Salt. Like
there you
that's
go.
that's
Yeah, I mean,
all.
yeah, I think of, yeah, I don't know, maybe a leather jacket. I don't know what the hell does a
Right.
spy wear? I don't know. I have no, yeah.
Yeah.
We should Google spy and then hit images and see what pictures come up.
That's the
But
point. Are they talking like counterintelligence, like an actual spy? Because if so, then they're just gonna wear whatever they would wear.
inconspicuous, an inconspicuous outfit, correct, which is nothing. Yeah, yeah. I have two more. And the next one's also from Coral from the Inferno as well. So same season. She had some couple one-liners, some great one-liners. She goes, I don't wrestle, I fucking beat bitches up. Classic Coral. I don't
Classic.
remember if she's talking to anyone in particular or if she's just letting the world know that she beats these girls up. But yeah, it's a great
Classic. That's a very
classic.
good one. And then my go-to, which I already mentioned before, which is again, I think a niche one, unless someone else had stuck with them as well. So when I was telling you and Pam about that, just like pops in my mind weekly, like on the regular. I always just think about when Anisa said to Trishelle, "You can't fight anyway, boo boo, so it doesn't matter." Like I don't know why. I
You
feel like sometimes it just pops in my head. Like maybe I'm having like a shower fight with someone in my head, or
I was
like
gonna say,
talking
you
to
maybe you
myself.
just want to pick people off the street and
Yeah,
start yelling that at them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just like, you know what? You cannot fight anyway, so it doesn't matter.
there it is.
It
There it
just
is.
stuck with me. So thanks, Anisa. You're
Do you
on
remember
my
what
mind
season? Do
weekly.
you remember what season that was from?
I think it was Arrivals. It
Yeah.
was one of those like I felt like back to back they had a lot of Rivals and X's seasons. You know, like there was Rivals 1, 2, 3.
Sure, and they were going back and forth, which was I always liked. Because the next season was never guaranteed to be X's 2 after originally having the first X's. So they would go to something else, maybe even something else after that, then go back to X's, which I also think they kind of had to do because they had to build up more X's.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't have a big talent pool. Let's be real, right? I keep bringing that up. They didn't have they only had so many X's. They needed to get more rivals. They need to have more seasons before they could have the next rivals or X's.
Yeah.
It was great though. Those are definitely my favorite times of the challenge, were all those types of seasons.
I love that middle section too. Like I loved, yes, I like the really old days where it was very like road ruly versus
For
or
sure.
real world versus road rules. But I so young that I didn't watch all of them like in succession. But I love that middle era where it's like the young bananas, NCTs and Wes's, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like the rivals section.
Like I'm thinking like 2000 through 2010, like, or
Yeah.
even up to two. When was it was the season, but when was the season that Banana stole the money from Sarah? That was like 2016 or 20,
Yeah, I think, yeah, or 2015 or something.
2015.
Yeah.
It was like right, like up to there, those 15
Yep.
years.
Agreed.
Woo! And then of course, right after that, I joined you guys at AfterBuzz for the show. But I still
No,
think we had
really.
some good runs in there.
Me too. I joined. I was like, wait, this show's not.
I joined you guys, I think season 32.
Yeah.
I
It's such a
believe.
weird archive.
Yeah,
I
I
found
think you
myself
were there
lost.
since what? When did you join AfterBuzz with the seasons? Do you remember?
I think 2015 or 16. But looking
Oh,
back now, I can't even stand to look at or listen to myself. It's so awful.
it's hard to anyways because you're like, okay, what episode was this and what happened? Because it's unless
Yeah.
you follow the episodes, it's like what we're talking about just feels like it's a different language. It's like blah 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 blah. Because like I don't know what is going on. So yeah. Anyways, my last one I have here, I did it just as a bonus one. It would never make my top 5. It's actually, the line is from Dunbar, but the situation is very memorable. And Dunbar says in a confessional or voiceover, I don't remember, he says, CT carries his custom-made Johnny Bananas backpack to the barrel in about 5 seconds. And he just said that, and
yeah.
it was a custom-made Johnny Man's backpack. And I don't know if he even got coined like he looked like a backpack until that line. And then everyone's been using it for everyone refers to it as Johnny became a backpack. And Pam even dressed up for it on Halloween with us.
Amazing.
She was CT and she was carrying Johnny Bananas, a little baby in a backpack.
Yeah, that's, if anybody can think of a time in the challenge, I feel like that's probably their go-to. It's like,
Right.
remember when CT made Johnny Bananas a backpack, or when Johnny sold or took the money. Those are like the biggest.
I just can never forget CT's face, and especially CT's quads, his legs busting out of his skin, the muscles like coming out of the skin. It was insane.
It's crazy to think of a human being like that and not being like a linebacker or a professional athlete of some sorts. But this is the fifth sport, right? This is the fifth.
According to Jordan was trying to make it the fifth sport, or just in general, I guess MTV was trying to make it the fifth sport. So yes. Yes. Well, that's all I have. Do you have any more one-liners that you loved from past seasons?
Just one more Shane one where he says you about the drama, bruh. It's just, that's all.
You love yourself some Shane.
I really do.
You should Instagram him and find out what he's up to nowadays.
We do right now.
But if anybody else has any comments that's watching this on Patreon right now and they want to throw in their one-liners in the comment section, we would love to read them, because we get so many comments on the YouTube channel, Jenna. We want to get more on the Patreon. That's for sure.
Yes. Hook it up.
Are you finding Shane or no? You did not find Shane?
Well, I was gonna wait till we got off.
Oh, sorry guys. You have to look up Shane yourself. We can't say anything online on the actual show about it, apparently. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with another random topic, maybe a deep dive, maybe not. We're not sure. And we will see you guys next Wednesday, though, on YouTube for our episode 5 breakdown. All right. Jenna, any last words?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. I as well will say that. Goodbye.